take a few minutes and just say, first and foremost, thank you, everyone. I know we're all super busy. The market definitely keeps us on our toes this last year, and just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm very excited with this collaboration with Simeon today, and very excited to present this project to you. So we felt that this webinar was very important, as this is a very unique offering. It's not something that we commonly see. And I think it's important for you to really understand what this offering is, because it's a great offering for investors, and that way you can relay this back to your clients as well. So I'm going to let Simeon take it over, as he knows it a little bit better than I do, or can definitely talk about it a little bit better than I can. So he'll go into project descriptions, and then we'll jump back on and give you kind of an idea at the end about procedures and exclusive incentives and pricing for you, our valued brokers.
So I definitely echo the sentiment, and a massive good morning to everyone. It's another blessed day. The sun is shining down on our beautiful city, and it feels great to do business again today. Thank you to every single person who chose to spend their time here this morning. You are going to learn, the majority of you, and so many of you that I know personally, are condo brokers, are residential brokers, are investment advisors down a specific path. But me personally, I'm a commercial broker by trade. So before we ever started really getting into the pre-con game a decade ago, I was selling gas stations, restaurants, plazas, etc. I still do. So I still have an active book. In this case, we're involved in the development of this retirement home because we sourced the land, and we're going to continue to work with this group to do a dozen of these. It is important that you truly focus on the message today, because it's going to teach you how to sell it to your clients. You personally may want to get involved in an investment like this, because I know so many of you are investors, and it's just a different investment asset class, and it's something to bring diversity into your or your clients' portfolios. So it's not a condo that is governed by the market winds the way we have seen all of us make millions over the last decade. So whoever bought condos, and in my case, I bought many, if you did the same, we've literally made millions, not an exaggeration. So in this case, this is a much more subtle, much more conservative investment, but it has a fixed open and a fixed exit. And I'm going to go over that as we move along the presentation. Just to give you a little bit of agenda, we're going to go over the brochure of the project. And we're not going to read it out, but I'll just hit the highlights of it so you know what to touch on with your clients. I'm going to move on to the pro forma, the financial analysis of their investment. How much money are they putting in? When? What is the return? How do they exit? The four most important questions of any investment. When and how do I exit if I need to? We're then going to proceed to the frequently asked questions by investors to their broker. So I'm going to give you the answers to the top asked questions. I did a test to a sample size of 500 investors 2 weeks ago, and we've been speaking to them since. And all the questions that arose and all the data we collected is what I'm going to share with you today during that phase of the webinar. We're going to then, I'm going to have Kara speak to platinum incentives and the broker procedures. And then we close off and get you everything you need along with a copy of this presentation. So, we'll get started. We'll hit it right away. Kara, you're ready to go on?
I am ready. And just to kind of echo, Simeon, what you said in terms of investments, and I'm sure, we don't need to push this and harp on this too much to this group, because obviously you all understand it. But I think it's really important, and given everything, I've heard it a lot, and I'm sure we've all heard it a lot throughout our career is, oh, I'm going to wait for the market to drop. Oh, I'm going to wait for the market to drop. And sure enough, here we are. We've been through a pandemic and the market's not dropping. And I think it's been an amazing year for everyone. However, I do think, to your point, Simeon, this is a great opportunity for people who are a little bit more conservative, who don't want that large of a risk of, depending on the market going up. And it's something that they can still put their money in. They're going to see a far better return than having it sit in the bank, but they know that it's safe, and that at the end of it, they're going to get their money out and it's guaranteed.
Yeah. So just to be anticlimactic, the bottom line is they're looking at a 23% IRR. Yeah. So when we finish this, everybody's going to understand what an internal rate of return is, if you don't already. But at the end of the day, this is a high-performing real estate investment play, and it has reduce the risk of 80%.
Yeah,
The difference with a
exactly.
residential is the fact that you're going to keep it. And if the market continues to do what it does, you would be at a 50% IRR. So no, this isn't a comparison. It's not something, if your client says, well, why wouldn't I just buy residential? Go sell them Kara's condo downtown. So don't say, no, it's not a good investment. This is better. That's not what we're doing. This is a great investment and it's for the right people. So we'll get started.
Awesome.
What you're seeing on your screen is the cover. If I can have my amazing executive producer, Bobby Pumes, in the back, and he's going to be running point on our presentation. The overview is simple, guys. We have a 7-story, 135 suite building. It's a commercial building. It's going to be an operating adult active retirement home. If anybody says, what is active adult? That means it's not a memory home for Alzheimer's. It's not assisted living where it's kind of like a converted hospital. It's not a hospice. It is people 60 to 80 typically who enjoy 6 months out of the year in Canada or full year in Canada, where they like their meals cooked for them. They like the amenities in the community that's created in retirement homes. And they like to be in locations where they have access to everything. This is located directly okay, so let me start this. Hamilton's post-Steeltown boom started about 15 years ago. Hamilton has seen literally 130% appreciation in the last 5 years alone. It's projected to continue to do so. From an overall real estate market, Hamilton continues to be one of the best investment destinations in the country, hands down. And we can look at any analysis, CMHC, Real Estate Investment Network, anything. So this specific part of Hamilton, the north end, this is called the West Harbour, specifically Pier 8. Pier 8 has seen $1 billion in municipal, provincial, and federal budget infrastructure. So it's not going to happen. Will it be approved? The buildings are demolished, cleared, roads are in, sidewalks are in. Next year, all of us are going to be working on launches at Pier 8 as an FYI. I've already set my hooks in a few of them, meaning I know as a fact that our whole entire community, almost every single person on this call is going to be pushing product at Pier 8. So it's exciting and it's amazing. But up the street, about 4 blocks, which is James Street, which is the main street to get to Pier 8, is an entire corridor. There's a GO train that's being completely revamped, the station. Across the street of it, Rosehaven just picked up, I don't know, like 180 townhomes that were, I don't think they were housing, community housing, but they were like maybe government assisted housing. Anyways, it's boarded up. Those are going to be luxury towns in the tune of 180 luxury towns. And that's directly across the street from the project that we're talking about today. So that entire strip is being revitalized. There's already been about 4 condo towers built in the last 3 years. There is a huge government employee facility, like a government building, not housing, but like offices, that's like 6 years old. So it's already starting to look refaced. And once the condos are built at the pier, we're talking about a brand new area of Hamilton, top end. We're 5 minutes from downtown. So if everybody remembers working 1 Jarvis, that's literally 7 minutes from the site, as well as the old schoolhouse or whatever it was called, the other project beside it. So the proximity is very close. This one specifically represents the absolute first commercial/lifestyle infrastructure project. So a retirement home is much like a private gym, which is a commercial lifestyle investment. So it's to better the quality of life within a community, to be able to afford. So this is a social and ethical investment to top it all off. So no, it doesn't matter what your clients believe in, whether they're after the return, after doing good on the planet. This hits a lot of facets, and you'd be surprised how many people do care about social and ethical investing. Hamilton right now has the highest geriatric population in Ontario, with almost 31% over the age of 60 and growing. So a lot of people are choosing, obviously, as you may know, Niagara, St. Catharines, Niagara on the Lake, Grimsby, all those communities, people 60 plus are flocking out of the GTA, taking with them all their monster equity and going, getting a home, a retirement home, and a condo, or whatever the case may be, and sitting and banking the rest to travel or whatever. So this is a destination for retirement. It's already lagging behind considerably. And we estimate that this is going to go through a lease up period. What's typical an 18-month window, they estimate they'll have it done in 9 months or less, just based on current demand and the operator's existing presence in the field, which I'll talk to. The players involved, we're talking about Trisect Construction being the builder and developer. Trisect is one of only 2 bonded construction companies that are allowed to operate the Greater Toronto Port Authority. So they're legit one of 2 companies that can touch the airport and the port. And that's not only to say much about them, it's to say everything about them, their integrity, their track record, the security protocols they follow, and their ability to deliver projects on time. That is the biggest concern to us because our payday depends on it. So the integrity of the builder and developer is as good as it can possibly be. They built the entire commercial facade and interior of the Ritz-Carlton. If you want to kind of see their work, if you've been to the Ritz, you know what kind of project that is. They built it, the commercial, not the residential tower. So they are a commercial builder. They're established and strong, and that gives us the comfort we need to proceed. The next player, who is the most integral part of it all, is the operator. The operator of this investment is Comfort of Senior Living. Their CEO is Sam Riyad, and he is one of the biggest players in the retirement home space. He is accredited across Ontario, Canada, and the United States. He operates 2 different banners, a different one in the United States, a different one here. Both are some of the highest regarded operations in the province. There's 12 projects currently under management, and that's in southwestern Ontario. And anybody can visit and do their own due diligence on Comfort of Living. You're going to find they are one of 3 retirement home operators that never experienced a single outbreak during COVID. And that says a lot in a sector where it was riddled with absolute tragedy and shortcomings. These homes were not touched. And that's because they had protocols in play, they had responsible and adequate staffing, and they're going to continue to do so and deliver an experience above and beyond in Hamilton and into the next 10 homes that we hopefully launch all together. For everybody to understand how a commercial cycle works, and sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, guys, please take some notes for some questions after, but we do have a bit to get through. So I'm going to continue kind of going at this speed. If you do want me to slow down, please let me know and I will do so. 1 second. So every commercial project starts with absolute market research and analysis. We go into site selection, and that's where we really hone down and look at all the stats, at the demand, the absorption, what the income is in the area. Can this specific demographic pay what we need to make this a profitable venture, etc. So that's all happens there. Then, of course, we go into pre-sales, which is where we are today. Then there's going to be the property development and construction period, the lease up period, and the exit. The ultimate exit out of a project like this is for the asset manager, LifeWise, to buy out every single investor that puts their money in today. That money, that 65% threshold, is going to be used solely to build this thing and be able to deliver a return. This sector is so lucrative that within a year it can be refinanced to buy out 65% of the building. So everybody understands it from a commercial venture perspective. And if anybody has questions to that, I can make myself available at any time after this to really answer your questions and give you everything you need to convert your investors into this project and into the next ones. I'm going to move into the pro forma and speak of how this investment works and give you a very specific timeline. Kara, before I move on to the pro forma, is there something you wanted me to to put some tone on. Are you good?
No, I think you're covering it all, and I think again to that discussion is not only is this an investment asset that we're looking at that is quite safe, is what we can say, or less risk, but you're also looking at it in an area where you know there is growth, right, and you know there's a lot coming around there. So I think that was a really important thing to touch on.
Amazingly, thank you. So I will continue on into the pro forma. Again, the project is called Harbour Life by LifeWise Group. LifeWise is the developer. Harbour Life is the project. As you can potentially imagine, all the projects are going to end in life. So it's going to be Harbour Life, Church Life, Niagara Life, whatever the case may be. Wherever the site selection takes us, they're all going to have that common theme. And they're all going to be ran under the same banner and the same type of offering. So it's going to be state of the art. That's something I actually didn't touch on. For any client that has anything to touch about safety protocols, light, they have hired an architectural team and an engineering team that has been able to provide separate HVAC to each one of the rooms, cutting down the risk of disease and or anything spreading, something by like 85%. It's dumb. So they've gone above and beyond to bring technology into this building that's going to be the benchmark and standard for future projects across Ontario. The light, the way the windows are done and the design of the building, it's called a shared light concept, where there's going to be very few barriers inside the suites, increasing natural light into senior living by 50%, meaning that existing homes today are all old and outdated, and they're spending a lot of time under fluorescent light. And we're talking about my parents, your parents. Like, we can call it a retirement home and detach ourselves from it, but think of who's living there. And when you put your parents into a home, what kind of quality of life you want them to have. So above and beyond the investment, this is where the social investment comes in. We're promoting a better future for the seniors of this province. So there's a lot of things above and beyond that I've touched that you're going to have access to learn more. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to get into the money because that's 90% of where everything comes in. So Harbour Life, active living retirement condominiums developed by LifeWise. What we have here is a normal pro forma where it says, as a Harbour Life platform, this is where condo fees, vacancy, occupancy, hydro, insurance, all those expenses go in. There is nothing here. Why is that? This is a commercial triple net management agreement, meaning that you are today putting your deposits in. You're going to close on it. You're going to get a mortgage and you're going to close on it. The day that you close on it, that moment that you close on it, your management agreement dictates that the operator, which is Comfort of Living, is going to be taking all the units, leasing them up, taking all the income, and paying for your insurance, your property taxes, your common area maintenance, which is in commercial real estate, it's called CAM, commonly known as condo or maintenance fees, but it's a little bit above and beyond because the insurance policies are astronomically more sophisticated for a business and a retirement home. So instead of having a $1 million liability, in this case, it would be $20 million liability per suite because it's an operating, living, breathing machine. So it's you have 130 units operating as one under a management agreement. So at the end of the day, you, the investor, your client, is going to put their deposits down and they're going to close on it with a commercial mortgage. The very next day, they pay for nothing. So all those expenses are covered for them as a triple net management agreement, a triple net lease. Above and beyond that, because there is not going to be a guaranteed lease agreement, because we didn't want to make a mockery out of it, meaning that this isn't an $1,800 a month thing. People who live there pay $4,000, $4,200, $3,800 a month. That's what the rates are going to be. Out of that, they have to be fed, watered, cared for, libraries, staff, and everything that goes with it. So what we've done is instead of doing a rent, we did a neutral cash flow, meaning that we're going to pay for all the expenses. You're going to carry your mortgage. Your mortgage, right now, commercial rates are between 2.15 to 2.5. They're saying, let it be higher. Let it be 3.5. So a 25-year amortized 3.5% on 75% LTV. It's commercial's 25% down, as all of you should know or do know. So on 75% loan to value, your client or you will get a check every single month for that payment, period. So no expenses and your mortgage completely paid. If your client pays for it in cash or using a HELOC, they're going to get that check every month. So they may make even a higher return based on that delta. So whether they get a mortgage at 3.5 or they use their own funds and it's less, they will be paid that fixed amount. Everything is fixed, everything is in writing, and everything is on the APS. There is nothing that's not covered in the APS that I'm speaking of today. So if we look at the area to the left, down payment is 25% for a total of $92,500. The mortgage amount on a purchase price of $369,000 would be $275,000, let's say. Interest rate, 3.5, 25-year AM. The monthly payment is $1,385. So every single month, your client will get a check for $1,385. The total cash required to close. The down payment total over the 3 years is $92,000. Cap development charges and closing adjustments. So unlike residential that we're seeing $9,000, $12,000, $14,000 caps, first and foremost, commercial is subject to a few less development charges, but not that many. What I was able to do across the entire building, 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom, doesn't matter. I've capped all development and parkland levies, etc., at $3,000 and all closing adjustments at $1,500. There will be nothing more than $4,500 on your client's closing adjustments at the lawyer. Not $75 for the check, not $2 for the staples the lawyer used, nothing. They're capped.
I think I'm just going to hop in that because I think that the staples, they charge you for everything. But I think that's a really important aspect because for a lot of people, they're very nervous about closing costs. They don't necessarily understand them, or maybe it hasn't been relayed to them properly. But in a typical condominium purchase, I mean, you're looking now at an average of a minimum $20,000 minimum in closing costs, but a lot of times it's closer to $40,000, $50,000. And that's just from the developer. That's not including land transfer tax. That's not including an HST rebate if you have to pay that back. So I think that's a really important thing to note here because it's less required.
We just had 20 plus clients close at 330 Richmond in the last 2 weeks, register, $45K plus HST.
Wow.
It was insane.
It's crazy. And, to be fair, like working from a builder side as well, like I have to say, like their fees are going up, like development charges, Section 37, parkland levies, those are going up substantially. So it's just being passed on to the client. So I think this is a really good point. I'm not going to harp on it too long, but I think that's huge because I think that's a massive savings for a lot of people.
It is. And it just makes it sweet. It makes it easy. So you don't have to expand. And when they're at their due diligence, at their lawyers, they're not going to find surprises, meaning they're not going to get a big summary from the lawyer saying, well, yeah, but your client can get screwed here, here, and here. There is none of it. So in this case, all the adjustments in the amendment, which is included in this APS, is going to cover every single adjustment in closing cost and capped at $4,500 in total. Land transfer tax is at $38.75. Legal fees for them to close, I put $1,800 because that's the norm. What you see below that is legal fees at buyback. So the legal fees at buyback is the only charge that they're imposing, meaning you're not paying commissions to anyone. Your client will not pay commissions to sell it back to the asset manager, excuse me. So the only thing that's incurred is the legal fees at buyback. They're going to pay their own, obviously, land transfer taxes, and you're going to be paying the legal fee, the exit fee of $2,500. I have included that because this is all the cash required to close and all the way to the exit. So this specific investment is not going to have any more expenses than what you see here. And I'm seeing already some questions come in surrounding HST and occupancy, and I'm going to cover those now before I move to the return. there is no occupancy period. During the occupancy period, the actual operator is going to start lease up. So the minute construction commences, huge boards, hoardage is going up all over Hamilton to start registration of getting seniors in the home. So there's going to be a database of, let's call it 5,000 seniors waiting to get into this state-of-the-art building, which is why they're going to have such a huge lead up and why they feel that they can get this leased up in record time because of the demand in Hamilton, specifically in a beautiful revitalized neighborhood. I saw a question about HST. It is a commercial investment for anybody who's ever done a commercial transaction. And why 80% of residential agents typically refer them to myself or my commercial team is because of all the weird things that are different. And it's really not that different. HST applies to every single commercial transaction, bar none. There is no exceptions. If it is an apartment building, if it is anything above 6 doors, it's not residential, it's commercial. A retirement home is commercial. HST applies to this transaction, but HST is included in this purchase price. On the APS, you will see language you are familiar with from residential real estate. HST is included. So there will be no adjustment on closing, absolutely none for HST. The only thing that might be, and I'm not looking to start a fire, but I have Deloitte looking at potentially your clients might be able to route. This is going down a complex commercial path, and I do not recommend anybody speak to their clients about HST ever. Your only answer is HST is included. You do not have to pay it. And if you're looking for anything above and beyond that, speak to your accountant. But they might be able to recapture this HST. And if they are able to, this return literally doubles. So I don't go down the path. But if anybody fears HST will be subject to the transactions, I have good news. It is absolutely covered inside the purchase price. And there just might be even better news on the horizon should we able to confirm how that works. But right now, nothing to worry about HST. I'm going to go a little bit into the return. The total dollars is broken down as follows. Principal recapture from the year of your mortgage paid down is $7,000. The contractual appreciation on exit, so the asset has been given a fixed 2.5% appreciation per year from the day they bought it. That is an average commercial return is 2.5% to 4%. They're putting it in writing inside their schedule what they're offering, and they're going to pay you 2.5% appreciation per annum at the 4-year mark, meaning $37,000 is not maybe or if. It is for certain. That is the number that's going above and beyond what you bought it for. The deposits that your clients put down, I know you may not be used to this, but in commercial real estate, we don't do a deal unless our deposits are making money because it's typically business capital. And in this case, the developer and the asset manager are going to be paying 2% interest on your deposits. The reason you see 2.37 here is because of the IRR, meaning that because your deposits come in at different times, the return is actually more, not flat. And I'll get into that for a second. But again, client facing, the developer is paying you 2% interest on your money while it's a sitting duck. On closing, you're going to get your lift, your mortgage pay down, and your interest for a total return, cash on cash, of 44.3%. If you take that into the bottom section here, where it shows when we're putting our deposits, and we'll cover this off cleanly inside the platinum incentives, it's we're putting in 5% down with the offer, or sorry, 5,000 with the offer, 5% 30 days. We're then putting another 5% at the 1-year mark, 20-month mark, 30-month mark, and lastly, I believe on closing, but we'll cover that off. So because your money is in for different time frames, you have $5,000 in for 4 years, You have 13,500 in for almost 4 years, and then it goes down. 18,000 is actually being invested in for 3 years, for 28 months, for 18 months, and lastly for 12 months. So that is the time that your money spends inside the investment. And beside it, you see the returns on that money for in the total at the bottom. What this is called the internal rate of return, and it does calculate the time value of your money, meaning what did you actually earn as you put the staggered money in on the total investment, and that works out to a 23% year IRR. Anyone has questions to that, you can go back to your OREA textbook, or you can call Simeon to answer any questions you may have. Really and truly, it's not complex. You just may not be familiar working within this context, and I'm here to help you make this a success. Kara, do you want to cover off the FAQ, the investor FAQ?
Yeah, I think it would be, so I've spoken to quite a few brokers since we sent out our emails and kind of introduced this project. And again, because it's a little bit different, I think a lot of people had quite a few questions. So we have since uploaded an FAQs on the broker portal. We strongly encourage you to go on to download this, to include this when you're introducing this to your clients, because it does answer, the commonly asked questions that we've been receiving that I think will be very helpful for you. I mean, I think most of it you've already covered, to be honest, Simeon. Like we spoke about this, but just to reference it, and this is what you'll see that's on the broker portal. It really just kind of covers everything that Simeon talked about, and a lot of those questions that you may have had is kind of detailed in this booklet. So I do encourage you to take a look. I don't think we necessarily need to go through it personally, unless there's something in there, Simeon, you feel we should.
No worries. So can I move into my unit? So again, if your client asks that kind of question, they haven't read or heard anything about it. So make sure that they tell them to read the actual content of the drive. Can I move into my suite? No. Can I keep my suite? No. So the developer has a built-in option to purchase. It's a 99.9% assurity that they're going to be out. The only reason this is being sold is for construction financing purposes. And if everything goes according to plan, meaning that they get their lease up, it will be a near impossibility. But again, do I have to pay when I close on my suite? I covered it. No. Kara, take it from here.
Yeah, I think the next step is let's go into our platinum incentives, pricing and incentives. I think that's important. We can talk about that a little bit. And then again, I see quite a few questions on here. So maybe at the end, we can just do a quick Q&A and we can answer anything that we haven't answered already. And then I know we've already mentioned it in the chat, but we will be sending this out. We'll upload this on the portal as well for you so that you have it. And if you missed it at the beginning, Simeon did talk about the fact that we are going to do a client investor webinar tonight. So we will email that around if you are interested. We'll make sure that everyone that's joined us today gets a copy of that link. So you're welcome to invite your clients. It's going to be a general investor client webinar. And that way, a lot of the questions they might ask are going to be answered then as well.
And Kara, if we can take feedback. If you guys feel that you need one between today and next Wednesday, where we're going to be allocating and writing agreements, if you feel that Sunday night needs a webcast for your investors, let myself or Kara know. Yeah. This is my duty to help you sell it. That's what we're launching this for. So if you feel you need extra boost or an extra webcast where your client will benefit from it, just pipe in. I don't care if it's 10 people or 500 people. We'll do it. Let us know.
Yeah, so I think really quickly, let's go through incentives, we'll go through pricing, and then we'll talk a little bit high level to procedures, which are being uploaded today. So just so you know, today at noon, so in 20 minutes, we're opening up the worksheet portal. Worksheets will be allocated on kind of a first come, first sale basis. You are platinum, so we are opening to you first. You are priority. So we are going to go through, both of our group of agents and make sure that you are taken care of. So worksheet portal will open at noon. The worksheet portal link is on the broker portal under the procedures, which we'll touch kind of high level too after this. We're also going to be uploading at noon the incentives and the price list. So this is something that you can download. Everything else is on there right now. So our FAQs is up, your floor plans are up, your brochure. We're also going to be uploading that Forma that Simeon just talked about, and that'll be up there as well. So you're welcome to flip that over to your clients. So just to speak really high level to incentives, so I saw a few questions regarding assignments. So your assignment is free. So that is coming in, your clients are getting platinum access, they're receiving free assignment. Cap charges, which Simeon had already mentioned, but big thing here was the $3,000 for development and closing adjustments are capped at $1,500. So that's $4,500, as he mentioned. That is all they're paying for closing adjustments, which again I think is huge, and I think that's a really big incentive for a lot of buyers. And then our payment structures. So we are extending it. It's going to be for a limited time only for our platinum brokers. So standard, the $5,000 at signing. We require a balance to 5% in 30 days. They're going to require 5% at the start of construction, which is a year from now. So the big thing here, which I think we should talk about, is only 5% this year is required down. I think that's very important. So 5% this year, 5% in 12 months, another 5% in 20 months, 5% at occupancy, which is 30 months, and 5% at registration, which is 36 months. And then again, at that point at registration, when you register the mortgage, I know Simeon touched on it, most those fees are being covered. So again, you don't have to worry about clients coming out and going, okay, it's going to sit at occupancy, I'm not going to be able to rent it, I have this overhead. That's not the case in an investment like this.
And also, Kara, just to add to that, because I saw a couple of people talk about the rate. And if anyone feels that the rate's going to be 4.5% to your client or 5%, the first 3.5% is being covered. So if they do end up with a mortgage that is a point or 1.5 or 2 points above and beyond, that is going to be chewing away less than $100 a month, because we're talking about a total commercial loan of $277. So just like if they pay for it cash, they can take home the 3.5%. If they have to go over, they'd be down those point or two. So this isn't trickery or rocket science. 3.5% is a very good rate to put a guarantee on. If anybody feels their client's going to be higher, shop it around, call me. I do have a lot of connections in commercial real estate lending.
Amazing, thank you. So just really high level to talk about the contractual assurances. So 18-month post-close is a buyback agreement with LifeWise. So you are guaranteed a buyback, you are guaranteed a buyout. So that's a big one for quite a few people who don't want necessarily the, I guess we'll call it a risk in residential real estate or typical commercial real estate. Mortgage coverage payback. So what Simeon just talked about, they're paying you back that portion. So again, if your rate comes back a little bit higher, you're really only paying that rate, the difference from the 3.5%, which has been guaranteed. 18-month free property management and tenant placement. So hands off, don't have to worry about it. They're taking care of it for you. 18th month free property tax credit. So again, that's coming back, that's being paid back to you. And an 18-month free unit insurance. So if we actually look at this, there's very little that your client has to do to purchase this property, and it's just turnkey. You sit back, and then at that point they're going to pay it out, and you take your money and you laugh. We're all going to sit back and laugh about this. So I think it's a really easy hands-off investment for a lot of people, and I think that's very important.
In my hope in this, guys, is because I'm working hard on getting involved with this group, and I'm bringing Kara with me. Kara has been a strategic partner and friend for a long time. Anybody who comes or brings their clients into this, you're going to have the absolute first option in going into the next building. And it's never going to be a case of reduced commissions or nothing but full commissions. And this is something that I've ripped the developers on since the beginning. If we're going to do 10 of these and you want to build a reputation, you don't, how some developers, I'm not going to call out any developers, send an email to your clients for phase 3 to invite them to a friends and family event. I find that fairly despicable, but they do it. A lot of them do that. That will not be the case here, because I'm in this business and that grosses me out, and it will never happen. So you will be paid. If your clients, you're going to get an email to promote it to your clients. You're going to get every opportunity to carry the clients to phase 2, 3, 4, 10. So that's what I'm trying to build here. And I'm hoping to bring a lot more of these to market, and they were going to be all surrounding the GTA. So we're all going to eat on every single project.
Sorry, I keep muting myself. I have a dog outside who had surgery, and he seems to think that he can just cry at me all the time. So get a dog, they said. It's so wonderful. I apologize. I am not ignoring you. So if we just want to pull up the price list, I'll speak really quickly to price, and we can go from there.
I think Bobby fell asleep.
Maybe he went and poured that drink that I told him to get earlier. Awesome. Thank you, Bobby. So again, there's a few different suite types in here. These are the prices. So starting from prices, the pricing, this is for the platinums. So again, expect this price to change after we do kind of this round of this group.
It's about it's a $30,000 difference.
Correct.
So yeah. any suite sold post May 31st is going to be going to $399, $469, etc.
Awesome. So again, all very similar. You see the floor plans, they're on the broker portal. Please pull them up. Please look at them. This is again going to be uploaded with the incentives at noon, but these are your prices. So very attractive prices. You can do the math quickly on the deposits. It's extremely minimal compared to a lot of other product right now out in the marketplace. And I think this is extremely important to tell your clients that given they're buying now, they will see a $30,000 increase as of June. So that's a big one. They sign a piece of paper and they know they're making money right off the bat.
With interest on their deposits.
Correct. So again, it really can't get much better than this. Bobby, if you could just scroll down. So a few people were asking about occupancy. So occupancy is aimed for winter of 2023. We've crossed out taxes. We've crossed out maintenance fees because again, you're not going to be paying for them. They're going to be paid back. The assignment is free. We have the mortgage coverage payback and the contractual buyback that we spoke about in the incentives. And again, the cap charges and the deposit structure, which we also spoke about in the incentives.
Sorry, I know it's a little thing. The assignment, they left, I believe the APS has like an $800 legal fee or something attached to it, but nothing for the assignment, just the legal charge. So I know it's small. I just don't want anybody to say you said free and it's whatever.
Which is pretty standard. There's no builder that won't charge because their lawyer charges them. And speaking from experience of being involved in the back end of assignments, a lot of people don't realize how much work they actually are. It's a lot of paperwork on the back end. So those legal fees are pretty standard. However, again, you can sell that contract and you don't have to pay anything but the legal fees, which I think is a big one. Awesome. And then if we could just pull up the procedures, we'll speak really high level quickly to that. And then we can kind of do a quick Q&A for everyone. Perfect. Thank you. So again, we have our broker portal, which has all of the floor plans, the brochure, the high level assets. And we're adding in just under 10 minutes, 12 minutes time, we're going to be adding our price list. We'll be adding our incentives, the pro forma that Simeon went through with you today, and the procedures. And these procedures have the link, as you can see here, to the worksheet portal. That's where you're going to submit your worksheet. They are all time stamped automatically. So you'll have the opportunity, you put in everything in there, make sure you hit submit. It's going to come to us. And then we're going to start allocations over this weekend. So we are taking worksheets in. We will be reaching out to you to start allocations, and signings are going to start next week. So I think that's a really big one to relay to your clients. And then I'm not going to go too quickly into procedures. I think this is something that you should read on your own. I'm not going to waste everyone's time. However, I just encourage agents all the time, make sure you read the procedures. It's very important so that you set expectations for your clients so that you avoid disappointment. They understand what they're getting into. They understand what's required of them. And I say, please read, because as agents, we never read things. So I'm going to emphasize that one again for us.
We're guilty too. We're guilty.
I'm guilty too. Trust me. It's just we're fast paced. We skim things and we move on, right? That's our industry. Everything is going to be signed. I mean, most of our deals are going to be signed. They're all done digitally through DocuSign. I think most of us are comfortable with that now. We're familiar with that. We can book appointments to walk through it with your client if they have questions. Again, they have have their cooling period, that time to go through any questions that they have with the APS. So as most of us, we encourage them to sign, and then we go through that time frame to go through that due diligence period with them. And again, we're not going to hold suites. So the moment you get an allocation, we do expect that to be turned around and signed pretty quickly. So that way, because we have received a very big demand for this product, again, I think location, price point, the unique offering that it is, we do anticipate this is going to sell pretty quickly. The biggest thing that I want to speak about is commission, because I know you're all probably sitting on the edge of your seats waiting. So we are paying 3% commission. 25% of that is in 90 days post-firm. 25% is in construction commencement, which again, we have mentioned we're expecting in about a year's time, and 50% at registration. So I think that's a really big one and breakout, because essentially you're going to get 50% of your fee in the next year.
Yes, and that's I can tell you for sure, because I have intimate knowledge of the group. Trisect, the CEO of Trisect, is actually a good friend, and they've ordered demolition to start September. They're hoping that by March they're going to be up, so they're going to have a crane on site by March. The group is well capitalized. Just for a little bit of insight to everyone, this was never meant to be condominiumized and sold off this way. This was an idea that was brought forward by a friend. The friend's name was Simeon, saying that instead of you guys spending $12 million, I have an idea. Why don't we do sales of 90 units or 65% and buy them back, giving everybody a guaranteed income and a great strategy, and everybody here can focus on buying the next 2 sites. And they looked at each other saying, huh. And that's how this deal was born. So I am telling you that you are going to have 50% of your commissions within a year. And I'm hoping that we might have another site to do exactly this again by that time as well. So keep your fingers crossed.
That's amazing. So thank you so much. Again, you're going to see these procedures. We'll have the link to the broker portal, everything. You've already been emailed that broker portal, but the link is there. If you have any questions or if you receive it again, please reach out to either our company or REC. We'll be able to provide it for you. All worksheets, again, are being timestamped. So please make sure to follow the worksheet portal. We're not taking any scan copies or any email copies of worksheets. That's very important. And just follow along. And again, in less than 10 minutes, we're going to be uploading pricing and incentives and opening up the portal. So I think now, Simeon, if you're good, we'll open it up to Q&As.
Yeah, please.
Perfect. So I think we have, okay, let's go through this because we've answered a few ones here. So broker portal, we will send out an email to all registrants after this with all the details again, because we have your emails for who's joined us. So please hang tight, we'll get that out to you. I have a question here. If the closing is winter 2023 and you cannot own the unit, how does the assignment clause work?
So there is no assignment required, guys. So if you want to assign your agreement anytime, you can. And that's going to be only governed by the construction financing. So within probably 6 months of closing or thereafter, you can sell it. But the whole point of the exercise is there's no occupancy period. The minute you close, you will start receiving your mortgage reimbursement. That is your income. The whole point is this will cost you nothing other than making a beautiful 20% plus return per year. So it's completely turnkey. You're not renting it. You're not managing it. You're not doing nothing. You put your deposits, you get your mortgage and or close with your own money, do what you do. Carry it for a year while you're being reimbursed for that mortgage payment, and you're being thereafter exited. It is that simple. If anybody cannot comprehend that, or I'm not saying it in a way that you understand it, please email me directly. I will give you all the time in the world. So Simeon@reccanada.com, Kara at HersonAssociates.com. It's that simple.
.ca. Changed it up. That's okay.
No, so there is no reason for you to walk away from here riddled on anything.
Perfect.
Next question, Kara.
Next question. So does the price going up 30K really benefit us? Will that increase our return? Will the builder give us that 30K at buyout?
Yeah. So the appreciation, so your schedule, I can't remember, A, B, C, whatever it is, the schedule that explains the exit will have the actual buyout price, which is exactly 2.5% a year for 4 years. So that will be in the contract. There's no ambiguity to it. If you bought it for 400,000 and 2.5% a year amounts to 450,000 or whatever the number is, it will be in the contract in black and white. Everything will be 100% accounted for in the APS. No ambiguity whatsoever.
Perfect. The next one, why wouldn't an owner be able to accommodate their parents in a unit they buy?
Because your unit is being managed by an asset manager and operator, meaning that they have their own agenda, meaning they're going to lease it and lease it up based on price, demand, etc. It has nothing to do with you. You are nothing but a 17.3% proportionate share condominium owner. So it is a commercial asset being managed by pros, and your own circumstances. You would have to put your parents on the list, and if you actually wanted that to happen, very simply put, you could come through and meet the owners and say, "Hey, I'm one of the agents that sold it. Is it possible that my parents can get a room here to live here?" And the answer would more than likely be 99.9% yes. Like, you're connected through the whole thing. It's not like we're strangers, but you would have to go through the asset manager who does what they do with their business.
Perfect. Next one, is it possible to buy on corporation name only?
Sorry, you cut out, Kara.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it possible to buy on a corporation name only?
No, a personal name has to be on it as well. Even commercial lending, for the last 3 years, I have not seen a single deal where a personal name wasn't on there as well. But just add both. On closing, you can give a direction of title where you don't have to do an amendment or an assignment. Just put 123 Ontario Inc. and Simeon Papa alias. You instruct your lawyer at the end, remove my name, close on corp. And if your bank is okay with that, great.
That's pretty standard. I mean, I do it with a lot of my purchases as well.
Yep.
Perfect. The next one here is, do we have any of the rates of what the units are going to lease for?
Again, this is nobody will see what they're going to lease for. They're subject to a business, meaning they're going to lease for, let's call it $4,000 a month. So the total income would be $500,000 a month for the building. Let's just call it that. But then there's the food bill, the staff bill, common area maintenance, realty taxes, mortgage payment, and so on and so forth. So this is a business operation. They are holding all cash flow, all income, paying all expenses to you or your client, as well as the mortgage payback as prescribed earlier at the 3.5%, 25-year 25% down payment.
So just to add to that, because someone else asked, will we be able to preview the management agreement? So I'm going to say no, because again, that's not a part of this contract.
So the management agreement is part of the APS. What's not is like the agreement with the resident.
Yeah.
No, but your management agreement, 100%, you're going to have a copy, because there's liability. It tells you exactly what they're liable for, how they're liable for it, etc. So the management agreement for the owner of the condo and the asset manager, 100% is a schedule on your APS. Yes.
Perfect. The last one we have here, we have a few more. So what if an investor doesn't want to come out and means they will continue to make a monthly income? And my assumption is no, you are being bought out of this property.
Yes. So in the absolutely thinnest chance on the planet that the asset manager does not buy your investor out, your investor will stay in and get proportionate share of a retirement home asset. And they would be participating obviously on the income and the expenses, but this would probably be the biggest windfall they could possibly pray for, is to not get bought out. But I don't tell your clients that that's a likely outcome, because it's not. This is a fixed, let them know that they're going to be exited at the 4-year mark. So if they close at year 3, they get exited at year 4.
And then here it says, depending on the market, will the appreciation be more than 2.5%? My understanding is this is a fixed rate.
So it's a fixed rate to your client. The way a commercial investment works, just so everybody understands, whether the market goes up 20% a year in residential, if I have a plaza at the corner of Yonge and Eglinton and the income is $1, and that doesn't move, my plaza's worth is only worth what it creates as a business. So this retirement home is going to be worth a 3x over 10 years in a stabilized basis. But if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, it would be worth nothing. So if this doesn't operate, I don't care how much you paid to build it. If you spend $20 million or $40 million to build something, if the purpose is not served, it's worth nothing. It's actually worth less than nothing because somebody has to spend money to take it down. So the difference between commercial and residential is obviously you can have great success and stability because it's not subject to market winds. And that's why it is absolutely the best and favorite investment of REITs, of pension funds, RioCan, Smart REIT, any pension fund, they invest in commercial first because it takes away any and all onus. The business owners pay the triple net rent, they get their rent, and all the operations are done by someone else, just like your investors for that 1 year.
Amazing. And then I guess we'll just touch on this, and we pretty much did already, but the commercial mortgage is only for 1 year. And yes, right now it's a 1-year mortgage.
So what they should be doing, I'm working really hard that by next Wednesday, guys. So I literally am submitting a deal today. The APS and all the language and schedules were finalized yesterday. I poked my eyes out at 1 a.m. last night trying to finish it. And I stopped. So I'm literally filling out an APS with my name on a unit that I'm buying today, and I'm taking it for financing. If they're able to get me like a 2.5, I'm actually gonna literally offer them the exclusivity on the project for mortgages, so everybody can be ran through easily and based on my experience. So I'll tell you guys exactly what I did over the next 2-3 days, and we can all have success and a shortcut to getting that step done.
Amazing. Thank you. And the last one that I think we have here is the exiting timeline after 4 years. Is it based on the number of suites they have leased?
No. So the whole building is going to be at 95% occupancy, hopefully by month 12, when they're doing the refi and taking everyone out. If anyone is left in, they're going to be a part owner of the retirement home. It's just that simple. They're subject to a management agreement that they can review now. So if for whatever reason they do not get bought out, they're literally a stakeholder in a retirement home.
Perfect. And then the last one I just had here is, can two or more buy 1 unit is what can 2 or more can go for 1 unit. So I believe 2 purchasers or more on 1 agreement, which is yes. And right now we have a max of 2 sales or 2 agreements per name.
We don't have the answer. I would say stick to what we know, which the 2 per two per name. That's a residential thing. Will commercial force us the same way? We're waiting. I'm going to know literally within 3 days. Stick to 2 per investor.
Perfect. So I think that we have answered pretty much everyone's questions. Of course, if you have any questions, you can email Simeon, you can email us. Everything is up on the broker portal now. So your pricing, your incentives, your procedures, and your Forma has been put up there. We will also upload a copy of this webinar onto the portal as soon as we're done and the recording is done. We can also, if we have everyone's email, we'll send it around to you. We'll send you a link to the portal shortly after. So expect it by about 1 o'clock today. We can also send a link to the webinar tonight for your clients. So if your clients are interested, if you have clients who are serious, I think this is a great way for them to jump on and really truly understand it, as obviously Simeon is very well versed in this. We more than encourage for you to come on with your clients or have your clients join us. So we'll include that link today in that email that we're going to send to you just before 1 o'clock. And again, that email is going to include the broker portal link. If you don't have it from the emails that we've sent out previously, we're going to upload this video, this webinar for you or your team members to watch later on. And we'll include that link for your clients to join tonight's webinar. You said it was 6 o'clock tonight, right? Simeon?
We're doing 7.
7. Perfect.
7. In Kara, again, you're going to get back to us whether you can make it or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to move a few things around.
Expect the exact same format, but we're not speaking commissions. We're simply speaking on the investment return. So completely unbranded and completely generic to ensure that we answer their questions. If you feel that on tonight, it's not going to be a webcast where it's closed. There will be the links below, just like this, where there's a Q&A. Put in questions. There is no rush. I don't have a time limit on it. Make sure that your clients are comfortable and they move ahead. We don't want to bring people in that are going to drop out in the DD. So bring people in that get it, comfortable, and they're comfortable with a 40% ROI or 23% IRR. Just be straightforward with them.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. I know quite a few of you have hung around, so thank you. We're very excited to bring this to market, and thank you, Simeon, for working with us on this. I think this is really exciting and bringing us on board, and we appreciate everyone's time.